Welcome to Stationeers. This is a recording for the development team as I found a curious bug which I'm having issues diagnosing. This is my basement area where I have my atmospheric control system. All this logic here, what it does basically is reads the pressure in the base to ensure that it is of a workable pressure. So at the minute it's currently reading at 16.9, nearly 17 kPa, as you can see there. And this system here, all this logic circuit's doing is they're comparing the pressures, so the quantity or the ratio of gases here, oxygen, CO2 and N2 in the base, and then they simply compare that to the percentages here. So these are the percentages. We basically multiply by 100 to get the percentages, and these are then compared against these dials here. So currently the oxygen is 20% demand, the CO2 is set to 10%, and the N2 is set to, or nitrogen is set to 73%. Yes, that's 103%. The reason I do this is because then all three gases can never automatically balance each other out. There's always one which can be out by 1% or so, so you always get gas fed into your base. But the way this works effectively is I have a pipe network, this one here, which is 907, currently displayed there on the PDA. Then we have from the tanks, we have, so this pipe here is actually a T-junction, a bent three-way corner, which I can demonstrate by bringing up my wrench. So there's a three-way corner. One of those pipes, one which is pointing upwards, is going up to the tank which is on the floor above us. So this is the same on all three of the pumps, all three of the feeds into this network. So effectively you have a three-way corner, then you have this, which is a simple valve, oxygen valve in this case. This is basically controlled by the logic. If the pressure in this pipe here, which is 907, is below 1 megapascal, the three valves on this part turn on. This valve, and this valve feed into this pipe, which is actually the emergency vent. So that goes up the side of the base, and there's actually a passive vent at the top there, which you may just be able to see. If the pressure in any of the tanks goes greater than 50,000 kPa, basically the relevant valve here will turn on. Of course, at this point in the game, the only one which has turned on so far is the CO2 due to the atmosphere of Mars. So, the issue, what is happening? At the moment, we have 0 kPa in this particular pipe. The only feed currently on is this one here, which is the main base feed, which goes up to the main part of the base. So I'll turn it off for now. If I go down here, the actual pipe network, I'll just go back a little bit. The pipe network goes along here, down, across, goes into the main feed up there into the base, and also comes down here, along this wall. You can see that it's complete. Goes around the corner here, and this is actually underneath my greenhouse area. Above here is a greenhouse. Basically, at the moment, this is fed in by logic controls here. So this volume pump is turned on if the pressure inside the base is too low, or inside the greenhouse is too low, or the temperature becomes too high. Effectively, what I'm doing is I'm saying read the base pressure, and if the temperature is too high, turn on this volume pump, which extracts the atmosphere from the greenhouse, which then makes the actual pressure drop below 100. If it drops below 100, this other vent comes on, or other volume pump comes on, which then feeds gas up into the greenhouse. But this is currently off, and will remain off until I turn it back on later. So back to where we were before. Now the issue is, basically, just draw a player drawing. Basically the issue is this N2 gas mixer is not feeding gas into this pipe, and it should be currently. As you can see, the valve is on, so there's a demand for gas in these pipes, as is the other two, because when there's a demand in the pipe, all three gas valves turn on to feed this pipe, which then leads into each of the three gas mixers in turn. So at the minute, the gas between the valve here and the max mixer, as you can see, is 2.5 megapascals or thereabouts, and therefore that mixer should have enough pressure from this back pipe to feed into this pipe here, which it isn't. Now, this is where it becomes curious. So I've got this set to 100 and 0. Input 1 is this one here, input 2 being this one here. Input 2 has nothing on it, it's just an empty pipe. This I know works. I've had it work in another base, and in fact I can prove it's working by testing another gas. So let's just change the dial settings here. So if I change this up to 30%, there should now be a demand for oxygen in the base, which there is because this pump has come on, and we can see gas feeding into the pipe, and it is pure oxygen. Now the gas feeds, you see the valves here have turned off, that one, and that one have turned off because the pressure in pipe 907 has reached the desired pressure of over 1 megapascal. So let's set this back to 10%. I believe it's 20 actually, 20%, sorry. Back to 20. There is currently no demand, therefore the valves are still off, as no gas is escaping anywhere because we have a fully sealed gas pipe. The only way of outletting is to turn this valve on, or the one on the greenhouse at the other end of the pipe. So I'll turn this one on for now. And there you are, you can see the gas is now bleeding off into the base quite successfully. At this point you can see the three valves. I'll turn this valve back on, that one there, and the far one down here are both all on. And the gas mixer for N2 is turned on because there is not enough N2 in the base, and it should be feeding N2 into the pipe. As you can see quite clearly here, no N2 is reaching the pipe. Now comes the really interesting bit. I'm going to go down into this corridor, and remove a piece of pipe out of this section down here. So that is now cut off. So effectively we now have two pipe networks, I believe. That one now, 940, which is a new network because we've cut this pipe, and this one here, which is the original one but has been renamed to 941, logical I guess. And as you can see now, the pressure is dropping and raising and dropping and rising up again. This is simply because this is doing its job. This gas mixer is feeding N2 into a pipe, as we can see there by the 90% volume of gas being N2 in that particular pipe, and that will rise up until the pipe clears of CO2 and O2, because at the minute all the gas the base needs is N2 or nitrogen. As you can see, it's increasing and it's containing a pressure above or just above the 2 megapascals. Working fine. That's how I want it to work. That's how it should work. However, here comes the really, really, really interesting bit. I'm going to go and re-establish our network. So let's put that away a moment. Pick up a piece of pipe. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't use that piece of pipe, I'll use another one. And in Blue Peter style, here's one I prepared earlier. So I'll drop this piece of pipe in the empty hole into this pipe network, and you would think, clearly, that this pipe network here will now become one again, which I believe it does. So that is now 941, let's just check both ends. So yes, that's 941. It's also 941 there. And that's the end of the network there, so it's 941 there as well. So that is one piece of pipe. What's happening? Ooh, the pressure's dropping away again. Why? Well, 1, 2, 3 valves are on, because there is demand in the pipe, because it's below 1 megapascal. The CO2 is off, because there's enough CO2 in the base. The N2 is on. There should be N2 going from this pipe here, which has plenty of pressure on it, into this pipe here. But alas, no, the pressure's dropping away. Let's turn this off. So we're no longer bleeding gas into the base. Pressure should be rising in theory, because there's a demand for 1 megapascal of pressure to be in this pipe. However, it's steady. And the reason it's steady is, for some reason, although it's powered, this gas mixer here does not seem to be feeding any gas, although it has sufficient gas behind it to feed directly into this pipe. Now I know what you're thinking, and I thought the same thing. How about taking this gas mixer and swapping it for that one? Strange thing is, it makes no difference. Proof? Okay. You want proof? Clearly, in this case, what's going to happen is, unfortunately, I'm going to break my logic, because the gas mixers are custom names. However, it doesn't matter, we can manually control this anyway. So what we'll do, I will first of all take this faulty, in quotes, air quotes, mixer off the roof, and I'll need my screwdriver to do it. Oh, I do have battery. I was thinking, of course, the battery would be flat, but it isn't. So we don't want that chucked away. Let's chuck that away. That's the faulty one. So I'll take this one off the roof now. As we saw it was working earlier, we saw the C2 being mixed in manually quite happily in both states, open and closed circuit. Oops, I still don't get this rotation. I don't think anybody does. Right, okay, got to rotate it that way. Okay, so gas coming out into the original, what was originally the 907, which is actually now the 941. We got an input from both the tank, or the piece of pipe which is valved and then tanked, and then an empty piece of pipe there on the left. Okay, so that's now installed. We turn this on. Let's just check our pressures. So in the pipe behind it, because the airflow is going, as you can see, out to this pipe from both that pipe and that pipe. What we need to do, of course, is increase the mix. So 100% of gas should be coming from this pipe here, gas pipe 1. Gas pipe 2 is empty. It's not connected. But this is known to work as long as it's 100% on gas input 1. Just my preferred way of working, because the amount of air which can go through these gas mixers is a lot greater than it can do through a pressure valve. Okay, so I'll turn on this again, and now we should be getting into that pipe. As you can see, nothing is flowing. Not a sausage. However, just one more time, if I go back out here, take that pipe away, the gas flow off once again, and that will continue to flow even though we turn on the pump here. You see the pressure will drop below 1 megapascal and then suddenly rise back up to 1 megapascal, like so. So yeah, with that piece of pipe in, it doesn't work. We found it in, it works. I have actually deconstructed the whole of this pipe network and reconstructed it so from end to end, from this point here all the way through, including this T-piece here, and all the way down here, round the corner, up to the point where this actual pipe, including this pipe on the end here, which then joins into the volume pump there. I've deconstructed all of that, and I did actually also ensure I got the pipe here which passes through the pipe analyzer, and then replaced the whole lot, and exactly the same thing happened. Yeah, I don't understand that. It's like this pipe network is broken somehow, but fixes itself when you create this pipe network, or two separate pipe networks, and then instantly breaks again if you put a piece of pipe back. And it doesn't matter what piece of pipe you put back, any piece of pipe. So yet again it's now broken, although it's not demonstrating very well because at the moment, there we go, it's now going down. So yeah, yet again that pipe network is broken. Yeah, I've been scratching my head on this one. I've had a look through the XML codes. I can't see anything in there which is broken. I've done a search for is broken, is burst, I think it is, isn't it? It's burst, and all results are false in my XML file. If you guys want the dev guys, if you want the actual game file, I have saved it as a separate file, so you can hopefully diagnose this one. I've been playing since beta, I've been playing since launch on Steam, just to let you know. It's not like I'm new to the game. I've been playing it for 5-6 months now already, and I consider myself to be a reasonably competent player. As you can see from my logic networks, I quite clearly have an understanding of the game. Well, I'll leave it there, and if you guys can get back to me with some sort of answers and or a fix, that would be great. Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.